Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel The Soulful Diary. Today we are going to study a poem, Love Poem for a Wife by A.K. Ramanujan. What does the title Love Poem for a Wife mean? The title tells us that the poem is dedicated to the poet's wife. The poet depicts his wife with unusual, thoughtful, and very memorable imagery, and then alludes to their unity as one being. Before we dive deep into the poem, let me give you a quick glimpse about the poem. The poem is divided into 8 stanzas of unequal length. It does not have any rhyming scheme. The poem is written in stream of consciousness style. What does stream of consciousness style mean? A narrative technique that depicts the flow of a character's thoughts and feelings, often in the form of an interior monologue. The speaker clutters his own thoughts with things he has experienced and with things he would like to. His relationship is not simple one, and this is reflected in the syntax. It is an untraditional image, rich love song dedicated to the poet's sleeping wife. Let's quickly go through the poem. Stanza 1. After a night of rage that lasted days, quarrels in a forest, waterfalls, exchanges, marriage, exploration of base and places we had never known, we would never know. In the first lines of the poem, the speaker begins by describing a fight he had with his wife. It was long, even though it only lasted a night, but it felt like it lasted for days. The argument brought to mind images from their past and their future, as well as those places they would never know. The speaker describes forests and waterfalls as well as exchanges and marriages. My wife's always changing, Syriac face, chosen of all faces, a pouting, difficult child's, changing in the chameleon emerald, wilderness of Kerala, small cousin to tall. The way in which these images bounce around relate to how he speaks and sees his wife's face. It is Syriac, meaning she comes from Syria. When he thinks of his wife, he thinks of the way her face changes like chameleon. The speaker references the emerald wilderness of Kerala. It is a state on India's Malabar coast. It is known for its beautiful natural spaces and animals. Stanza 2. Mythic men, rubber plant, and pepper vine. Frocks with print patterns copied locally from the dotted butterfly, grandmother wearing white day and night in a village. From the reference to his wife's face, the speaker presents the images of his surroundings. They were brought to his mind when he thought about his wife. He imagines rubber plant and pepper vine frocks with print patterns. These patterns come from local dotted butterflies. They are worn by grandmother day and night in a village. Stanza 3. Full of the color schemes of crates and garter snakes, adolescent in Eden among stabbing Arabs, betrayed and whipped, yet happy among ships in harbor and evacuees the borrowed earth. In this stanza, the poet speaks again of the color schemes. The colors come from crates and garter snakes, both found in India. There is another location referenced by the speaker in the second line of the third stanza. He speaks about Aden, the capital of Yemen. This is a place of great contrast. The speaker tells about how his wife's adolescence was spent in this city, but she and her family members were unable to remain there. Stanza 4. Under the borrowed trees, taut, dry and wet, hot and cold, by by the monsoon then, by the siroccos, now on copper dust cones, the crater townships in the volcanoes of Aden. The contrasts continue with the dry and wet and hot and cold. This is related to the monsoon season and the siroccos. What is siroccos? A kind of wind that blows from North Africa across the Mediterranean. It is interesting to consider how the speaker brings up these images. He is assuming that the reader is going to be able to relate to them. Therefore, one might want to consider the audience he had in mind. It could be one which is already familiar with the local customs, colors, and plants of this region of India and the ups and downs and weather patterns in Eden. Stanza 5. I dreamed one day that face, my own yet hers, with my own nowhere to be found, lost, cut loose, like my dragnet past. I woke up and groped, turned on the realism of the ceiling light. The speaker changes direction slightly in the fifth stanza when he turns to speak about a specific dream that he had. He recalls how in the dream his face became her own and her face became his. The separation was nowhere to be found. He compares the way in which his own history disappeared to a dragnet. What is a dragnet? It is a kind of a net which is dragged through a river in order to catch a fish. After having the dream, he woke up and groped around. He was brought back into reality when he turned on the ceiling light. Stanza 6. Found half a mirror in the mountain cabin, fallen behind the dresser to look at my face now, and the face of her sleep, still asleep and very Syriac on the bed. The speaker continues to narrate what the aftermath of the specific dream was like. In the sixth stanza of the poem, he looked around until he found half a mirror. The mirror had fallen behind the dresser in the mountain cabin. He used it to look at his face, but he was also able to see her behind him. She was there on her side of the bed with her very Syriac face. Stanza 7. Behind happy for once at such a loss of face, whole in the ambivalence of being half woman, half man, contained in a common body, androgynous as a god, balancing stillness in the middle of a duel to make it dance, soon to be myself, a man, and happy in the morning to be himself again, the past still there, a drying net on the mountain. In the seventh stanza, he expresses happiness with the fact that she lost her face. He is remembering his dream and the fact that in the dream they were half men, half women. They were both within a common body. The speaker compares this morphing of selves to an androgynous god. Who was androgynous? Androgynous is a person who has both male and female biological characteristics. He knows that soon the dream is going to pass and he will be back to being himself. He will be drying net on the mountain. Stanza 8. In the morning, in the waking, my wife's face still fast asleep, blessed as by butterfly, snake, ship rope, and grandmother's other children, by my only love's only insatiable envy. In the stanza, morning comes. He wakes up first and looks at his wife's face. She's still fast asleep, blessed as by butterfly and snake. The images spoken about in the first four stanzas come back to him. These are the elements of her past, and she has been blessed by them. In the last line, he admits to a feeling of jealousy he has for anyone else who might have a claim over his wife. Poetic devices in Jamin. This occurs when a line is cut off before its natural stopping point. A perfect example is line 4 and 5 of the first stanza. Another example is line 4 and 5 of the fifth stanza. Alliteration. It occurs when words are used in succession or at last appear close together and begin with the same letter. Example: first stanza, child's and changing; second stanza, wearing white. Metaphor and simile are used in the text as the speaker compares his wife to a variety of different things, such as a pouting child. Another movement in the fifth stanza sees the speaker use a simile to compare his own face and hers to his dragnant past. Thank you. I hope you liked the video. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to my channel. See you tomorrow in the next video at 4 p.m. sharp.